Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Norma with All Things Handmade. In this channel, you're going to be learning how to create, how to price, how much to invest, how to buy it at wholesale, and how to sell it. Let me get ready and let's get to work. In this video, I'm going to show you how I make a picture frame with resin. This is the small one of the large one I did. So we're going to do it in details. This is the other one I made, which if you look at it, this one is much thicker. And the reason why it's much thicker is because I added rosebuds. So we needed to cover all the rosebuds. Plus this is a large size. We're going to be making this one, which is, a lot bigger. And this is what I did. I'm going to put a link of the video to do this one right up here. So for this video, you're going to need about a total of 3.5 to 4 ounces of your resin already prepared. The first one is going to be 1.5 ounces or 45 milliliters. Okay, half of each. And this is the resin I'm going to be using. I'm going to put a link in the description box for this resin. This resin, you really have to mix it for 3 minutes, otherwise it never gets hard. You can measure it correctly, but if you don't mix it the way it's supposed to be mixed, it doesn't get hard. So you're also going to need, of course, your little cup. You're going to need some sticks, whatever glitter or decoration you're going to put on your mold. So the first thing we're going to do, this is for my mom, and my mother likes, she really likes orange. So this one has some orange. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to make it slightly different than the other one. The first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to pour the glitter into my cup. It's already been mixed. The bubbles are gone. So you put as much as you want of the glitter. Here we go. And the first thing we're going to do, we're going to put it in the bottom to make sure we have one nice layer in the bottom part. So here we go. There we go. And then the rest of it, we're going to divide it here. Oops. This resin, you can mix it indoors because it doesn't have any odors. What we're going to do, we're going to leave it. It's nice and even. So I'm going to go ahead and set it aside. So for my image, I already cut it. This one, depending on the image that you have, this one was cut 3 3/4 width and 3.94 height, and then I cut it into the shape of the heart. But if you look at this one, I don't know if you can tell at the ends, it looks like it's been like it's an old, almost like a vintage look. So I want to do the same thing with this one. And what I'm going to do, you're going to need a little bit of water. You're going to put your 2 fingers inside, and you're going to go ahead and wet only right along the edges. Now to do this, you have to print your image on an inkjet printer. This one right here, for this one I use a photo paper, but you can use any kind of paper. The reason why I use regular paper, you use regular paper for this one, is because you're going to be wetting the edges, and it works better. So we're just going to go right along all the edges, just like that. Wait about a minute. You also going to need, and I have this, is a photo transfer Mod Podge, but you can use any Mod Podge. And I'm going to tell you, once we get to that, I'm going to tell you why. So now what you're going to do, you're going to wet slightly your fingers, and then you're going to start pulling like right along. Make sure that you grab it like this, otherwise you're going to end up pulling too much. Okay, so we need to let it dry, but this is how it looks. It looks, because of the stain and the way I cut all along, it looks like little vintage, like 1940s, like it's an old picture. So we're gonna let it dry. We're gonna let this dry as well. I will say 8 hours or more, and then so let's go ahead and do that, and I'll see you back. It's been about 5 hours, and this is already completely dry. And this one, I think it needs a little more, but on the surface it already looks dry. So now what I'm going to do is, I have my image here. It's completely dried up. I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to add some of the Mod Podge. Any Mod Podge will work. I just happen to have this one here, and I already have my other 2 ounces of resin ready. So pretty much what you're going to do, you're going to cover it just like that. Completely cover it. Now, the reason why we cover this with Mod Podge and not the resin is because when you put the resin and then on the bottom just to seal it, and then you put the image and more resin, the image kind of floats up, and it doesn't, number one, it doesn't look even, and some areas absorb in the bottom of the image, absorb more than other ones, so it just creates a problem. Okay, so my image already has enough, and we're gonna go ahead and put it inside the heart. Okay, that's better. Okay, so I always cut my image a little shorter than the edge of the resin goes, so that it seals. Otherwise, I feel like it's not going to. I never had any problem before, but I just want to make sure. Okay, so if you look at it, because the image is completely sealed, even though it's still wet, you cannot pull it up anymore. See, that's how it looks. Okay, if you put it anywhere else, if you put it any other way, it's just not going to work out, and I can tell you that from experience. So at this point, the only thing that I'm going to try to do is to take off this little mark right in here. It's very softly. Just like that. And the reason why you need an inkjet printer is because that way the image is not going to run, okay, in this color. It's just going to stay exactly the same way. Here's the proof on this one, and here's the proof on this one here. Okay, so now, even though it's still a little wet, we can go ahead and add our resin. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So there it goes. And you pour it in the middle so that it expands evenly. That way it's going to expand evenly. So you just check and make sure that everything is expanded the way it's supposed to. Here we go. I think that's enough. So I have a little more extra that I can do something else with it. So let me just grab it and bring it to you. So this is how it looks. It's nice and even. So now I'm gonna let it sit here. I'm gonna wait a little bit and make sure there are no bubbles, like all of these, because of the image. It kind of surfaced some bubbles. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pop those bubbles, and I'm gonna keep an eye on it while I watch a program. Just make sure that I get rid of any bubbles. That's the only drawback when you use a picture of or anything else like that. See, like all these little bubbles, I can just dilute them. So I'm just going to keep an eye on it for a little bit, and then I will be done. So I'm going to leave it overnight. Right now it's like 7 o'clock at night. I'm going to leave it overnight to cure, and then we'll come back and take a look at it. Well, good morning. Coffee ready. I left it overnight, but before we work with this, I wanted to show you. Yesterday I grabbed a little bit of the resin and I put it in the bottom and I put the image on top. This is the one I have here at the house. What happens is when I clean, it keeps falling down, so I put a little bit of resin all around and I glued it. So I just wanted to show you guys that. And while I take this off, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the breakdown. We used 3.5 ounces of the resin, and each ounce is 60 cents, so we spent $2.10. And then for the paper and the ink, $3, so the total came out to $5.10, plus another 50 cents for the glitter. So the total came out to $5.60. You multiply it by 3 or 4. I usually multiply it by 4, and the total came out to $22.40. I will probably just knock it down to a little bit to $21.95 or $21.99 if you want to sell them. Okay, so here's how it looks. Look at how beautiful. And here is your image, nice and clean. And I really like the way it looks, like with the a vintage old look around it. There it is standing up. It's a very good present for birthdays or for even for a wedding. This is how it looks. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. May the Lord bless you today and every day. And until next time, thank you.